Hey you guys, welcome back. I am super excited today. I've got a bunch of these bad boys that need made into something. We're out of school snacks, especially baked goods. So I thought I'd bring you along today to show you how I make one snack from home that we no longer buy in the grocery store. That's super simple, super quick to make, and it's very cost effective. And then I want to show you some ways that I actually create the loaf and then put it into snack size portions for the kids' lunches for almost a month out of the school year. So let's go ahead and get started at making some banana loaf. Okay, so I don't know if you're like me or not, but I go to the grocery store and all we buy in the grocery store now is food, because everything else that we used to buy with our groceries, we now get from an online store. But do you ever go in and get a whole bunch of bananas because your kids are like eating one every day and we run out in 4 days, and then you get a whole bunch and they don't eat them? They are brown, and I actually have 9 bananas here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to triple the recipe, as this recipe calls for 3 bananas, okay? So I will walk you through the recipe as if we're going to make one of the recipes and not triple it, so you can have what you need to do that. So what you're going to need is 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of mashed bananas, which is about 3 medium bananas, 1 large egg at room temp, which we have our eggs back here. I don't know if you can see them over on the counter there from our chickens out back, so they're always at room temp. You're gonna need half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then your chocolate chips if you choose to add those, which we always do. So I also want to show you my secret ingredient, and I will bring that in when I get to mixing the flour, and that's an all-purpose fiber that I add to all of my baked good recipes. So now that you know what we need, let's go ahead and start making it. Okay, so first what we're going to do is, in a large bowl, we're going to add together the flour, baking soda, and salt. So we're gonna need 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. So let's go ahead and put that in this bowl now. Okay, so now that I have the dry ingredients in here, I'm gonna show you what I put in for fiber, like I said, in every single baked good that I make, including bread. And that is this right here. So it's called Fiber Wise, and in 1 serving, it gives you 16 grams of fiber, and it has soluble as well as insoluble fiber, which is so good. It doesn't taste like anything, looks like flour itself. So all I do is I add in 2 scoops, just like that, to 1 recipe. And that is my secret ingredient for adding fiber into any baked good that I make, because it's super important and nobody gets near as much fiber as they should. So that is it for the dry ingredients now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our chocolate chips. I've got a little baggie here of mini chocolate chips, and I'm going to use these. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply pour these chocolate chips into the wet ingredients. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a whisk and just mix all the dry ingredients up. Okay, so I have it all whisked together there. This looks like a lot because, like I said, I'm showing you the recipe made by itself, but I'm actually tripling it as I go, so it looks like a lot. Okay, so now that this is all the dry ingredients are whisked together, I'm just gonna push that aside. And now in my bowl for my mixer, or if you don't have a KitchenAid mixer, or a stand mixer, just use the good old willpower that God gave you and use just a bowl with a masher that you can mix together by hand. So now what we're going to do is in this, we're gonna combine the sugar, bananas, egg, oil, and vanilla. So we're going to need 1 cup of mashed bananas, which is about 3 medium bananas, 1 large egg, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 3/4 cups of sugar. So let's go ahead now and add all of that to this bowl and get it mixed up. Okay, so now that I have the wet ingredients ready and the dry ingredients ready, what I'm going to do, and I'll show you that, I don't know if you've seen it on the time lapse, it's just your mashed wet stuff. What you're going to do is, if it was one batch, that's the word, batch. If it was one batch, I'd have enough to fit it all in here, but since I've got 3 going, I'm gonna do it a little bit backwards. That's okay, it still turns out. So normally, what you would do now is you would add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, but because my dry ingredient bowl is bigger, I'm going to do it opposite. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put your wet ingredients into the dry, and there I go. And now you're just going to take your mixer or whatever you have in your kitchen, and you're gonna mix the wet and dry ingredients together, just like this. So it says do not until just combined. So you don't wanna over mix. You wanna do it till just combined. Since I'm doing it backwards, make sure you dig to the bottom and get the dry ingredients brought up, because they might be sitting around the bottom edges. And there you go, make sure you got the sides down there, and there we go. So there is the banana batter. So now what I'm going to do is, I have my oven preheating at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to get out some loaf pans. So normally I would get out 1, right, doing 1 batch, but this is 3, so I'm gonna get out 3, and I'm gonna just line them with some parchment paper, and then I'm going to divide this into the 3 loaves, and we're gonna throw it in the oven to bake. It's a super fast, super simple recipe. So anyways, let's go ahead and get the loaf pans ready. Okay, so that was a little bit of a struggle. But what you're gonna do is just, this is what I do. I just kind of cut the parchment paper so it fits like this and it has enough room to come up along the sides a bit. So when it's done baking, I simply just pull the edges up and lift the loaf out. So now that these are done, let's go ahead and pour the batter into the loaf pans, and then once the oven is preheated, we'll throw them in the oven. So let's go ahead and fill the loaf pans. Okay, there we go. So that is what it's going to look like. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put them in the oven because it is preheated, and they bake from 18 to 20 minutes. So when you're baking, I always set it at the lowest number, so the 18 instead of the 20. And then if it's not done yet, you can allow it to go extra. If you do it the other way around and you set it just for 20, it might get too well done and then you can't undo that. So I'm gonna throw them in the oven. Actually, I can do that right now. I'm just gonna open it up, slide the 3 of them in. just like that. I don't know if you can see that, perfect. So I'm going to set my kitchen timer for 18 minutes and I will show you what they look like when they come out. Okay, so they just came out of the oven and the recipe I was using was a muffin recipe. So they took longer than the 20 minutes. They took close to, I'd say 30 minutes, which I wasn't even thinking about that when I told you. So anyways, they are out of the oven now. I'll show you what they look like. Super, super awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them sit for about 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to lift them out of the pans and I'm gonna put them on a cooling rack, so they can cool. And then I will show you how I actually package them when I make a big, like a bulk, I don't even know what the word is, a big batch. There we go. I can't think of the word today. When I make a double or triple batch like this, I'll show you how I freeze 2 of them. So then when the first one's done out of the snack drawer, I'll bring the second one out. So anyways, let's let them cool and then I will show you how I package them up and put them in the freezer for storage, and then how I bring them out as I need them until I need to make another batch when they're all gone. So let's let them cool and then I will show you how I lift them out of the pan. Okay, so there they are. Can you see how I just pulled them out of the pan? Super simple. I just lift it up and the whole thing comes out just like this. So there's nothing stuck to your pan. Now I'm gonna allow them to cool even more that they're out of the pan. And once they're just about cool, what I'll do is I'll show you how I store them for the freezer and then how I also put them in the kiddos' lunches for their lunch snacks. So let's let them cool and then I'll come back and show you how I store them. Okay, so now that these are pretty cool, what I'm going to do is I just have Ziploc bags, which I mean, we go through them in a full month, so they're not in the freezer long. Basically 1 loaf a week, so it lasts for 3 weeks, right? So what I'm gonna do is if I can get 2 in one bag, I just put 2 in one bag and I'm gonna put 1 in the other just to keep in the drawer. And then I'll show you what I look like, I'll show you what they look like once I've got them in their bags. Okay, so I did get 2 in one bag, so you can see that there. So this one now is going to go into the freezer and I'm gonna have it froze until this one's gone. And when I take them out and they're frozen, sometimes too, they're a lot easier to cut when they're frozen or like semi-unthawed. So these 2 are gonna go into the freezer just like this. And then this one here, I'm going to put right here in the snack drawer, and then every day when I make the kids' lunches, I'm just gonna take a slice off of the loaf if I don't have it pre-cut and put it in their lunches. Instead of buying pre-made muffins from the store or pre-made cupcakes from the store, this is a really good alternative to doing that. Saves you a ton of money. You have that added fiber into the recipe. But also, what you doing? You good? Yeah. But also, you're going to know what's in it, right? A lot of the pre-made stuff in the stores, you don't know what's in it. There's a lot of additives and preservatives in there that sometimes you just don't want to be eating. So this is a really good way to make homemade snacks for at home or in school. And it's super, super simple. So there you go, guys. I'm going to put these in the freezer and have this one in my snack drawer. So there we go. 3 loaves of snacks made, super quick, super easy. I will put down below in the description the recipe that I used. If you give this recipe a try, I would love to know how it turned out for you. It's super moist, and if you want to know about that fiber, I get it at an online store. Just send me a message and I can send you the store, like the link for the store and how to get it. And you also can get it at a 30 to 50% discount. The flour that I used in that container is a huge bag of flour that I get from Costco. It's the best price that I've found for flour, and it's actually pizza flour. I really, really like that. And you can get that at Costco. But anyways, there you go, guys. That was a super quick and simple way to make one homemade snack that you can mix, or sorry, that you can take out of the grocery store and mix it up at home to have a healthy alternative. So if you have anything else that you want to see, any recipes that you want to see, any alternatives that you want to see, drop it down below in the comments, and I would love to try it for you and bring you a video on how to do it. And as always, guys, if you know a mom friend, a dad friend, a sister, aunt, uncle, brother, whatever, who loves banana bread and loves alternatives to the grocery store, forward this video over to them and tell them to give it a try and then go taste test it. Anyways, love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you guys so much for following along. Like this video, ring that bell, subscribe so you never miss a video coming, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye.